It's me again. Look at that, look at that. Okay, so last week I talked about fantasy versus reality, and the reason why I talked about it is because this is stuff I have dealt with myself, and I see a lot of people that are similar to me who struggle with the same things. And I really wanted to share these experiences with you guys because this is something I think about a lot, and I feel like maybe other people who have the same stuff going on will like to hear an experienced person who's experienced these things and currently still experiences it, because life is a big fat journey, you know what I mean? Big journey. Anywho, this week I'm going to talk about the alter ego. Sorry, it's the sun, pretty sun, the alter ego. And I'm actually doing this one directly after my last one because the alter ego is super similar to fantasy versus reality, and there's a lot of similarities, but I definitely wanted to do fantasy versus reality first so you can kind of get a foothold of the direction that I'm going in. So the alter ego. So a lot of people might have a small idea about what the alter ego looks like, but I feel like a lot more people have this kind of problem and struggle with this and probably realize. And one of the big things about an alter ego is that it's not the same for every person, because there's tons of different personality types. And the alter ego is pretty much a made up can't speak right now. An ultimate projection of yourself, an extreme projection of yourself. And there's a lot of different kinds because there's a lot of different personalities. You might be, ooh, perfect, I never do anything wrong, everything is wonderful and just dandy. You might watch too many Van Diesel movies and think that you're a badass car driving, deep feeling, misunderstood kind of person. You always have these lines like, you can't start today until you finish tomorrow. You know, I just made that up, I'm a freaking genius. Put that on a poster board and give me $1 bazillion. Or you might watch a lot of cartoons, like I like to do, and then paint, dye your hair purple, put on a lot of makeup, wear like big bows right here because you are now an anime character because of all the anime you've watched. You know what I mean? You know who you are, so you know who you are. And you might feel, right now you might be like, wow, that's rude. You're rude, Austin. You just totally attacked my personality. No. I am not attacking you. I'm talking to you about things that I have done that I want to share with you. No, I have not pretended like I'm in a Van Diesel movie. I'm talking to you as a friend, a sister, woman, lady who continues to have these problems. And I'm talking to you about it because having this alter ego, this huge persona of yourself, is super not great for you. And just like fantasy versus reality, just like living in fantasy lala foo-foo poo-poo land, you also cannot live in this projected version of yourself because it's not real, and it's going to take away from you, and it's going to take away from your life, and it's going to take away from your relationships, and you will not be able to really be yourself. Yourself, who you really are, will suffocate and more or less die. It's like killing your actual self. There's something alive on my back. Oh my gosh, what's alive on my back? Tell me what it is. Oh, it's just a hair. Okay. Smells like a spider or something. It's a shield, and it's taking the place of something that can actually be there, that's actually real. And finding out who you are and stuff like that is actually super hard, and I totally get that. But I noticed that a lot of people, including myself, I've done this, instead of falling back into who they really are, they create themselves in like layers of layers and layers and layers of stuff. I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this. And you have to keep that up, and that's horrible and exhausting because you can never be vulnerable. You can never need help. Everything is a huge projection, just this huge overlapping of things that are not real, okay? And that's why it is so dangerous. And so, fine, cosplay, you can do that, no big deal. Stuff like that, that's fine, but if you live your life as this fake persona character person, you can't have real relationships. People can't help you. You can't talk to anyone, and it's not real, and your real self is suffocating and dying, so you can have this fake. And I know it's hard to actually be yourself, and I know it's hard because you think, if I actually act like myself, if I'm actually myself, I'm gonna get rejected. My real self is gonna get rejected, and if I act like my fake character, alter extreme self, then that character is being rejected and I'm not being rejected. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Do you see what's happening? And so that's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to have this fake persona of yourself, because if no one likes this extreme personality, you can just be like, oh, I'm just too much for them. They just can't handle me. They just can't handle my personality. That's just who I am. If you don't like it, then you can just leave. You can get over yourself. I got some of you guys. I know I got you because you're like me and I'm like you. you are kind of probably a weird person. You are kind of out there. But if people reject this huge extreme version of yourself, then they're not really rejecting you. They're rejecting the extreme version of yourself. And you can just use that as a front. And let me tell you, it's avoiding responsibility. And, whoa, Austin, what do you mean? It's avoiding responsibility, because when you're yourself, you're responsible for your relationships. You're responsible for your life. And I see people, and I keep going to this, but this is because this is the one I can most relate to. People who portray themselves as these anime fake characters, more or less. They watch a lot of TV and they really want to. The reason why they're doing that is because you're scared to actually be an adult. You're scared to actually be responsible for things. Now, calm down, okay? You probably pay your phone bill. You probably pay some car insurance or whatever. Maybe you don't, but you probably do. And if you do, you can be like, well, I'm doing all the adult things, but you've never really considered yourself an adult. You've never really actually considered yourself an adult and someone who can succeed by yourself, or rest with all the other adult people. You still see yourself as a child. Because being an adult means some freaking self-assessment. It means taking hold and taking responsibility. I mean, that's one way I believe you can help know if you consider yourself an adult or not. Self-assessment, test number 1, okay? Test. And let me tell you, if you're with other people that have their alter ego, then all your little alter egos are playing together in little play dates, and you guys are pretty much, what is it called, LARPing? Live action role playing. And you guys are playing off of each other's alter egos, and come on now. I wanted to be hardcore and BA and badass and ka-ching, you know what I mean? And let me tell you guys, I am badass. I am super hardcore legit, but I'm not hardcore badass legit because I wore because I wore a dog collar, because I wore 3 black belts, because I had black lipstick on. Did that make me legit? No, that made me, I was a child who did not want to be responsible, who did not want to be considered responsible. I don't want people to depend on me. I did not want to be in a place where I had to be dependent on. Terrifying, because when people depend on you, that's a lot of chances and opportunities to fail. Oh, I wait for my mom to call me. My mom's in charge of my relationship. Oh, I wait for my mom, or I go to family events. Oh, I wait for them to do the dishes. I let them drive. And let me tell you guys, I am super like this. This is super hardcore my personality. I struggle with this so hard currently. Oh, there's a piece of glass on the ground. Look at my feet. I would have stepped on that. No one's just gonna put it right here. There we go. Let me tell you, there are people at work. I have people at work and at church that don't like me. There are people that do not like me. They have me totally figured out. They don't have me figured out. But they don't like me, but that's okay, that's all right. They don't have to like me. And you know what? Actually be yourself and let some people not like you and just be okay with it, okay? People don't have to like you. But let me tell you, it's freaking worth it, because the friends that you have and the relationships that you have are actually real, okay? They're not based off of your ultra ego character person. Your relationship with your parents are real. Your relationship with your friends are real. The biggest thing is to be able to self-reflect and really be able to look at yourself honest to goodnessly. Self-assessment is extremely important. Self-reflection is extremely important, and you want to live in what's real and what's happening right now, don't you? Do some serious, hardcore self-reflection. Don't be scared to self-reflect. What you should really be scared of is fake, is false. False, fake stuff. That should be terrifying to you. Terrifying. You should be able to look at yourself at a certain point back in your life and be like, that's who I was at that point, but I've moved on from that. I have grown up. Who you really are is like super duper neato. Like super neato, because people are so intricate and so freaking interesting. If you're to actually be yourself, no comparison. No anime character can outdo you. No movie character can outdo you. I absolutely freaking promise you that. Self-reflection. Think about it. Think about fantasy versus reality. Think about your alter ego. Think about what's real and what's not. And you know what? It's okay if you don't know who you are at all. Yourself takes time to fall back into. All right, thanks a lot. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.